Yeah, hello YouTube. Yeah, it's another day here that we want to look at a certain job here that came from another computer shop. Yeah, a technician brought this motherboard here, and when this motherboard was brought, the technician wanted me to check the charging port because he thought the charging port was not charging. And after the motherboard came, I had to show him that the charging port was okay because I realized the charging port was okay, only that the motherboard was not taking in any power. So as I make this video, there's also something else I want us to check, because I can take advantage of this video here maybe to address some issues from a beginner point of view. When you're a beginner and you want to repair a laptop motherboard, a dead laptop motherboard, like this one here, as a beginner, what are the tactics or what are the hacks you can use to check this motherboard and to maybe be able to tell where the problem is, or maybe be close to the problem. Sometimes you're not going to find the problem, but you can be close to finding the problem as a beginner. So some of the things you need to know is that sometimes power in a motherboard, it's like water in a pipe. I like to demonstrate as this is like water in a pipe, where water comes from point A to B to C. So as a technician, you go to point A and you find water. You go to point B, you find water, and you go to point C and you don't find water. What is going to be your conclusion? That is, there's something blocking water from point B so that the water is not reaching point C, and that's where you need to solve. That is the part you need to work on. What is blocking this power to preventing the power coming from point A to from point B to C? And so, as a beginner, or from a beginner point of view, or from a beginner's perspective, so the first thing as a beginner you need to do is to check. You can use a multimeter to check power. That is, if you know how the power is flowing. But sometimes you don't even know how the power is flowing, because a board like this one, what are you able to tell as a beginner? There's nothing much you're able to tell from this board here as a beginner. So you need to have some knowledge as to how the board works. Maybe to some will go to schematics, some will use a board view. But as for me, I think I'll try to show you as a beginner maybe what you can do. So the first thing, as I talked before, I said is power is like water coming from a pipe that is passing from point A to B to C. So the first thing you need to check as a beginner is whether you are having power on your charger. You have your multimeter there. Check my multimeter there on the screen. You will come with your multimeter and put the black probe here on the ground, the outer shell, and then you'll go and check the inner shell. You see whether there is power. And as you can see here, I'm having the 19 volts on the screen there. So that tells you what? We are still going to use the example of a pipe. So we have water here. So let us insert the charger on this motherboard like this one. Check my power supply there. What can you get? You'll see nothing. It's not even taking an amp. And this is why the technician came telling me that we need a new charging port, because the laptop is not taking anything. And so he thought the charging port was the cause of this one. Only to come and show him that the charging port is okay. I would tend to believe the multimeter was having an issue, his multimeter, because when we came here and I was able to show him through the multimeter that the charging port was taking in the power, he was surprised. Now you can check, like here. I touch here and you'll see what? You see, there's 18.91 volts. So you can see the port is okay. So he had come for this part here. You see this port. There's a way you can remove this port here. You see. I hope I can show you. Yeah, this is the port, and this is where the port is coming in. So we thought we should change this one, because on the power supply, the board is taking nothing. It's taking 0, as you can see. Put again, insert the charger, the board is taking nothing. So that's where he got confused, and he thought that he needs a new port. And when he came here, he found that this is a dead motherboard. is a dead motherboard, and this is why I want us to check on as a beginner. Where do you begin to diagnose a dead laptop motherboard or a dead motherboard, maybe for desktop, for anything? So I said the point of water coming from point A to B to C. Now we have seen that there's water, quote unquote, there's water in this charging port here, there's power, there's a voltage. So we insert and we come with a multimeter, and we are going to see that we are getting a voltage also here on the charging port. You can see there. Now let's go under the microscope and maybe try to show you some few hacks you can also use, especially when you're able to see very well, when you're able to have a magnifier. Get something like a magnifier or a microscope or something, because trackpads sometimes will tell you where the power is going. And so let's go under the microscope so that we can see this together. Let's go under the microscope. Okay, that is the microscope. Yeah, that's it. So let's have some light here. I think that light is okay. Okay, you can check this where the charging port is. It's here. Yeah, this is the charging port. You can see this one here. This one is where the charger, let me show you. You see, this is where the charger is. Connecting the charger here. The USB connected here. And then the charger is all coming on the way to the motherboard, up to that place here. So what are we able to tell from what we are seeing here from this motherboard? We're able to tell that power, you can see the trackpad here. I don't know whether you're able to see that. You can see this trackpad here. Let me focus a little bit more. You can see the two pins here. There's a big trackpad going to this component here. Looks like a resistor or maybe a filter or maybe a dabber. I don't know. Looks like a dabber. So come from here. The power is coming to this point here. The power is flowing to the other side. You can see the way trackpad is coming. You can see this part here. This here and this here is where the part is coming. And you also can see that this one is also bringing power to these two coils here. Coil 1, coil 2 here. And then also the power flows. You can see there's a bridge. Here there's a boundary. I don't know if you're able to see that boundary. Here there's a boundary. Although you can see that the power is coming from this one, coming to this coil and now to this MOSFET. You can see the boundary here. So the track is still continuing through this MOSFET, coming through the other side to this MOSFET here. You can see coming to this MOSFET, you can see the power is here, coming to this MOSFET here, and then through the MOSFET here to this current resistor. And we can be able to tell that this is a 19 volts power rail. First and foremost, it's coming from the charger, the DC in jack, which is carries 19 volts. The other reasoning, we are going to have the trackers bit bigger. That big track that carries the 19 volts, because the smaller tracks, like for the 5 volts, the 1.8 and 3 volts, they are a bit smaller. But the big track, that is for the 19 volts. That's a hack I'm giving you as a beginner when you're trying to diagnose this laptop motherboard. So we can see after this current resistor, where is the power going? Now from here we can see the power is going, continuing on the other places or to the rest of the motherboard. So we have not connected the charger now. We are going to connect the charger. Let's connect the charger together, and we are going to check this together now. You see? Yeah, we were able to find that there was water on the charger here. The voltage, let's connect the charger. You can see on the power supply there's nothing, but let's come to this connector here. Yeah, here. Let me touch the first pin here. You can see the 19 volts. The 19 volts, the two pins, because they're on the same trackpad. You can see this trackpad here. This is a power carriage trackpad. When you touch this one, there's no voltage. There's no voltage. These two are going to have 19 because they're on the same trackpad. So the 19 volts, we can confirm there's 19 volts here. You can see. And now there's 19 volts here. You can see. Now we are trying to follow the trackpad. Remember, we are following the trackpad. There's 19 volts there. And now let's come to the other side. You see, and we don't have the 19 volts. That should be the question. Why are we not having the 19 volts here? Are we having a shorted MOSFET? Are we having a shorted capacitor? Are we having, what is happening? Or maybe something is not passing power from one side of the board to the other. Why are we not having a voltage here? You see, you have not used any schematic to know how the 19 voltage, the 19 power volt is flowing. You have just used the designs on your motherboard. The power, the 19 volts, you just follow the 19 volts the way it's coming in. Just to come and find here we have 19, but on this place we don't have 19. Higher, let's try to check for a short circuit, because most of the time you find that the MOSFET is cutting out power because of the short. Let me try to check for the short circuit. Yeah, I'm in diode mode. Check my multimeter. Yeah, a reading and a beep. That is a cap. Okay, let me show you the cap on my microscope, so that you may not think. Yeah, this is the negative part where you have a 0, and we have a reading here. Yeah, this is on the 19 volts. Let's try to check the MOSFET. Let's try to check the 19 volts power rail. Yeah, this is the power, the charging here. Are we having a short on these coils? We are not having a short. Here, we are not having a short. We are not having a short. And remember, the power supply is still taking 0. So we don't even know what is causing this. So we are not also having a short on this MOSFET, and not having a short on the other MOSFET. So I will do this. I'll come with a power supply. And because we have realized that on this part here, we are not having power on this part here. You see, we have like the 19 volts here. You can see. Let me go back to the voltage mode. Like we have the 19 volts here. And we don't have the 19 volts here. You can see the 19 volts, and we don't have the. So I will come with a power supply and try to inject voltage here and see what is going to happen. Whether we are going to have a reading on the multimeter or not. Because the only way I can be able to know is after here is supposed to have 19 volts. What will happen if I inject 19 volts here to try to present the right condition on this motherboard the way it's supposed to work? What will happen? It's either I'm going to get a short circuit, the power supply is going to take some amperage and a voltage drop, maybe from 19 maybe to 15, something, or maybe the voltage will come back and the motherboard might work, or maybe I don't know. So let me come with that 19 volts. So let me use a crocodile clip here. Yeah, this one to clip the, you see, this one is going to clip the motherboard on the ground side here. Yeah, sometimes there's okay. So now I'll come here. This is the 19 volts. I'm going to inject this 19 volts using this is the red wire, the positive wire from the power supply. You can see I'm going to come and touch it on this part, this side here, the side we are talking about here. You can see. So we have our 19 volts. Let's see what is going to happen. Oh, see what is going on. Yeah, the laptop is taking 0.3. Oh, you know what? This laptop could be probably on. This laptop could be on right away. You see, it's taking 0.3 and the fan is spinning. So let me continue holding the power there. Let me see whether the fan is going to spin again. Maybe. Yeah, the CPU is getting hot. 4. Yeah, the CPU is taking some power. It's getting hot. Yeah, I want to see whether we are going to have another fan spin after the CPU has tried it, has gotten hot enough to have a spin. Yeah, you can see the power of knowing how to follow the power, the 19 volts. You see how quick we are able to get the fault? We got the fault very, very quickly because we're able to use the microscope. Or maybe if you, it's not a must to buy the microscope because sometimes microscopes are a bit expensive. You can buy something like a lens that will help you to see how the fan is spinning. The fan is spinning. I know you cannot see this, so let me come out of the microscope mode. Let me try to hold it there. Please don't. Okay, switch it. I switched it off. So yeah, let me come out of the microscope mode so that you can see this together. And as just that simple, we have been able to find the fault on this motherboard. I'll just jump power, or maybe replace this component, and the motherboard is okay. So let's come back to. So microscope aside, Yeah, you can see the point I'm telling you there where I'm injecting the voltage. This part here, you remember this part from the charging port, this white part there, that end, that's where we're going to inject there. I want you to see the fan. Check, the fan is spinning and the motherboard is taking some power there, you can see. Yeah, and after sometimes the board is going to spin the fan. Yeah, the board is not having a RAM, neither is it having a hard disk. But you know what? As long as I've corrected the error, I've just called the technician and go fix the rest of the part, and the motherboard will be back to life. So that's it. So that is what I wanted to, from a beginner point of view. Like I told you, voltage is like water. You follow voltage from the charger, going to the charging port, going to the components. As because some of you, I know you're not able, you're not able. Yeah, so in this case, what I'm going to do, I'm going to run a jumper wire here so that I can show you practically that after I change this component, all will be left here is to just replace the component. And maybe if you don't have the component, you can still let the machine run that way, but I would not advise that. Into some yeah, so let me show you under the microscope what I've just done. Let's go under the microscope. Microscope mode, sorry. Sorry. Back to camera for sometimes and back to microscope for now for. Yeah, so check out here what I've done. I'm just trying to run a jumper wire. Able to see that from your end? Okay, just a minute. Okay, let me try to focus that. Okay, so where is that? Is here the connector? Yeah, you can see now what I've done. I've jumped this wire here. You can see this one here. Yeah, now let's come out of the camera mode and try to see whether now after jumping we still have the, we are going to have the, yeah, so back to camera mode. Yeah, let me now insert the charger here. Sorry. Yeah, the fan is spinning. And you can see on the power supply we have 0.3 amperes, and that is it, guys. This, so I think this video has helped you to know how you at least you can follow the track pads and try to know how the power is flowing. So guys, remember, the bigger the pad, the more the voltage. Not always, but I've used this tactic for sometimes to know the 19 volts, the 5 volts, the 3.3. At least the only vote you're able to know is the 5 and the 19. So the rest you can always use a meter to diagnose that one. So guys, that is it for today. I just wanted to check this one under the beginner perspective. To see how you guys can utilize this information here for repair, dead motherboard repair, dead laptop motherboard repairs. Most of the time you find that the machines, because of the high voltage, the 19 volts, the machine are most affected under the 19 volts. Yeah, sometimes you'll get the 3 volts, the BIOS volts, the 5 volts under the, but mostly you'll get the 19 volts is the one that is mainly the problem. So guys, I hope you have learned something out of this video, and guys, keep subscribing, guys, and keep asking questions down in the comment section so that I can know what I can make next time. And that is it for today, guys. A lot of you are just watching my videos without subscribing, guys, so please remember to support my work. It's not easy, and I'll appreciate, and I'm very grateful for the guys who have been able to subscribe, guys. And that is it for today, so let's meet in the next video. So the fan is spinning, as you can see. I hope I'll be able to tell the technician to come with the rest of the part for the laptop so that we can assemble and maybe try to show you that the motherboard is working. But you can see the fan is spinning very well and everything is okay. Yeah, normal temperature on the CPU. Everything is fine, guys. Thank you, guys. Bye.